Thank you for joining me for day 10. Now I'm going to take this subject, which can become very complicated, and try to make it down as simple as we possibly can. The initials for this presentation are D like David, T for Tom, I for Igloo, DTI. In the mortgage industry, that stands for debt to income ratio. We're going to talk about that. Now, debt to income ratio, there are two components to your debt to income ratio. Something called housing debt to income, and secondly, something called total debt to income. So let's break it down. First of all, one of the most common misconceptions, people think that we have to use your net income. No. In the mortgage industry, we use your gross income, meaning whatever your gross income is or determined to be by your professional lender, whatever that happens to be, that's the number that we start with, your gross income. So if you're on a salary, let's make it simple. You're on a salary of $8,000 a month. That means the lender is going to begin their calculation with $8,000. Not your net, your gross, $8,000. Now, then we're going to take the new house payment. And when I say the new house payment, I'm talking about principal and interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and HOA if applicable. We add them all up. Whatever those come to, we divide it by your gross income, monthly gross income. So if I take your principal and interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and HOA, and say that comes to, let's just make the numbers real simple. Say it comes to $2,000. We divide that by 8,000, that means 25%. That means your housing debt to income, housing DTI, or sometimes in the mortgage industry referred to as the front end, is 25%. Now, that's only the first number. The next number is called the total debt to income, oftentimes referred to as the back end. Now, we take the same components for your house. In the example I just gave was $2,000. We add to that your monthly recurring amounts off of your credit report. Car payments, student loan payments. By the way, if your student loan payments are deferred, lenders still have to use what I call a pretend payment. We won't get into that now. Your professional consultative lender can walk you through that. But student loans at zero, we still have to put something in there for that debt. And we're credit card, minimum credit card payments, not maximum, minimum credit card payments. Unsecured loans. If you have any derogatory things such as collections, if they go over a certain amount, the lender's probably going to have to add that in. So we're going to take the new house payment plus car payments, credit card payments, student loan payments, and any other debts that show up on that credit report. We're going to add it all up, divide it by that 8,000. To make numbers simple, let's say it was $4,000. So $2,000 for the house payment, $2,000 for other payments, $4,000. That would give us a 50% DTI, meaning that 50% of your gross income is going to be necessary to buy this house. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the nitty-gritty details on how high those ratios can or can't be. That gets way too long and way too confusing, and your professional consultative lender can walk you through it. But here's some basics. FHA with credit scores that go above 650 or so, you can usually go your back-end DTI up to as much as 55 or 56%. Conventional, depending on where your credit scores are at. Credit scores are above 750, probably can go all the way up to 49.9, maybe even just over 50%. That, remember I mentioned when we talked about conventional FHA, sometimes you may have a back end of 53%, which won't qualify for conventional, but it would qualify for FHA. So, summary, debt to income ratio. You've got back end and you've got the front end. Total debt to income, housing debt to income. Simply divide whatever those numbers are by your gross income. That's the simplest way to explain it, simplest way to try to understand it. I know that this is a complicated subject. Do me a favor. Speak with me. Don't be afraid to call me, even if I'm not doing your loan. Or get on the phone with your professional consultative lender. Have them walk you through the DTI so you understand it. You're a first-time home buyer. You have the right to know exactly where you stand on debt to income ratios. Thank you.